Say what?
Hello and welcome back. It's time for Say What, where we hear from those connected to the industry about what's going on in our world of electrical apprenticeship. And this will always and forever include topics that you suggest to us. So please do keep those coming. I'm your host, Cindy Sandifer. Have you heard of RENEW? And I'm sure many of you have, but IBEW RENEW. It stands for Reach Out and Engage Next Gen Electrical Workers. And it's an IBEW initiative to inspire younger members to get more involved in their local unions. And it actually grew out of the 2011 IBEW convention. Now, rather than me try to share, we've got the EWMC RENEW President with us for tons more information. Please help me welcome Alan Mora. Okay, but I want to start with basics because, I guess RENEW is still fairly new to me, but someone might be listening and hearing about it for the very first time. So, what does RENEW stand for? What's its focus? What's its purpose? Just kind of give us a little bit of a rundown on that.
Yeah, RENEW stands out for reaching out and engage next generation of electrical workers. So it's for people who are 35 or younger, but doesn't mean that you can't help out RENEW, attend RENEW if you are more of our seasoned members, as we call it, or our gray members, depending where you're at.
Oh, gray. Oh,
Yeah.
that's wise, seasoned gray. Okay, gotcha.
A little bit more, I'm banned from there, so I don't know how long more I'll be inside the club. I myself, I'm 32 years old, I believe. That I just don't keep track anymore, honestly. Once you hit a certain age, you're like, "How old are you?" I'm like, I guess I'm still old, young enough to be renewed still. So maybe I'll sneak
You're in
in
your
as 40.
30s.
Yes, 30. Yes,
There you
yes.
go.
That's all I know, right? And it's funny because every time they ask my age, I have to pull out the calculator and do the math. Okay, 1993. What is it now? So gotta do a little working there. So it's meant to reach out and engage our young workers. It's a little bit hard, I will be honest with you, Cindy, because when you join the union, right, people join for different reasons. I joined because when I was driving by the Electrical Training Institute for Local 11, I saw the little sign that said, "Hey, please apply here." And guess what? The first thing I did is look at the website. I saw the wages. I was like, wow, that's how much people are getting paid? And I was like, this is a lie. It's a scam, right? You mean the contractor's going to pay all my wages and, this goes on my check, blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, what do you got to lose, right? So you do it, you go ahead and apply it, and I'm still here. So it wasn't a lie. But
Or
again,
no, I'm kidding. I was going to say, or, they've just totally hoodwinked you, but we all
or
know
I
that
just
it's
ruined it
not.
right now. They're going to take away my benefits and for my paycheck now.
If they'd heard the stuff that wasn't on the recording, they might, but we're good. We're good.
All right, we're good. So I joined for that reason, right? I didn't join because of the labor movement. I didn't join because of I wanted to give back to the community. I didn't really understand what the union was about. So reaching those type of members within the IBW, within our apprenticeship program, that's what's difficult for Renew is, hey, this is what we offer. This is opportunity to give back to the community. This is an opportunity for you to be in leadership positions, right? Renew is to help guide, to replace our leadership as well, right? We do have biz managers that are eventually going to retire. We have training directors, electrical training alliance members, and we have an aging populations where they're going to need replacement. If we did not have the next generation ready and trained to take over the mantle, the reins, then we're doing a disservice to our union, because all that knowledge, all that experience that comes from older generations, if we don't learn from them, then we're doomed to repeat the same mistakes that they committed, right? We want to improve the union. So what Renew does is not only gives back to the community by doing toy drives, by doing community service, but we also host like workshops, right? Hey, this is what Robert Rules of Order, right? This is how the order of operations, how the unions run. This is how you make a proposal. And we also reach out to different locals. So Renew is across IBEW, across Canada, and we get different ideas from different locals, right? our local 11 reaches out to Texas. What are you doing over there, right? How are you engaging membership across that? And that's kind of what we have the Renew portion conferences at EWMC, and why IBEW hosts every 2 years a Renew conference is so we can meet and discuss, hey, what's going on in your local? How you're engaging membership there? Because that's a very tricky part, is to not only, especially apprentices tend to be a younger Renew members. If you're doing schooling, if you're doing work, then we're going to add you to be active into the union, and there's no really benefit to it, right? Besides that feeling of giving back or improving yourself, self-improvement, right? That's what makes it a little bit more difficult for our engagement.
Yeah. First of all, I loved your response about why you chose to get involved in the industry. Like, I think that kind of honesty is refreshing, and it's probably true of more people than we realize, other than those that maybe grew up in the industry, have family that were a part of it. You don't have the history, you don't see the big picture, but you're like, I can make this, you're going to take care of this. So I think it's really good for someone to hear that and be like, no, that's okay. If that's your reason for becoming a part of the IBEW, like, we get it, because people want to be, rewarded basically for the hard work they do. So that was fantastic. And kind of improve people, right? So I'm hearing Renew is about improving folks, making us better, workshops and such, training, education, but then also this idea of replacing, because none of us work forever, none of us live forever.
None of us want to work to get forever. That's why we work the retirement, so we can retire.
That's it, right? I want to enjoy, but I don't want to leave. Particularly if I love, and I think most people do love the industry, they love what they do, they love those they work with and for. And so it's like, I don't want to leave a gap. And I have a friend, she's in a different industry, but she was like talking about how she said, oh no, I literally train my replacement, as in the work she does. I want to train someone to come in and take what I do and do it 10 times better. And to me, that's really what you're saying Renew is about. It's that we're not just going to stay as amazing as we are. We're actually going to get better.
And that's also a difficult part, right? Because you, as a person, as a journeyman, as the leadership, also have to be comfortable with training your replacement, right? Because what we see sometimes in the field is a journeyman doesn't really want to teach an apprentice sometimes, because why? They'll replace them. They'll hide the blueprints from them, right? Or give you just the minimum information without really teaching them, right? Because they don't feel assured in themselves. Same thing with positions of power, right? If you want to train somebody else to be a business manager or the next ETA director, you have to feel comfortable with training your replacement, because if you don't, then everything you created for the organization, you got to redo it again, right? That person's not trained, especially when it comes to, for the ETA, for example, the risk of trust fund and how it's run, how that takes years of knowledge, of knowing the right people, knowing what you can do, cannot do. If we lose those connections and we lose that knowledge, then we're seeing our industry back a couple years, right? But I think encouraging our older members to mentor our new generation and to feel comfortable training our replacement will be essential for our industry.
Yeah, and that really digs. I mean, we're going beyond Renew. Like, you start digging into like the human brain, our psyche, like, emotional intelligence. Like, we're digging into that, because it is where we all have pride. Sometimes it's good, healthy pride. Other times it borders arrogance and becomes a little bit disruptive and distracting. And so, to be like, wow, this person, if I really teach them all I know, and I feel like I've still got 10 years left or whatever it is, will they end up replacing me? And it's just, that's a tough one. That's a tough one for the ego and all of those things.
And also something that we do struggle with Renew, right? Because we get people coming like, hey, well, my German doesn't want to train me, right? And we say it's not, because don't take it personal against the person, right? They might have you got to also think about, everybody's going through some stuff. Everybody has a life, right? We can be also, some people are fine, but some people smile and pretend everything's perfect. You never know they're having a bad day, right? And some people let it out. And sometimes that's a healthier way to do so, right? That you let it out, but you become a little bit grumpy, right? You get a bad reputation. But but that's something we deal with, right? That's something that don't take it personal. It's this journeyman, shall pass. Be vocal about, hey, this is what you're making me feel. I don't think you should be treating me this way. Can we, at least can we have the mutual respect, right? If you don't want me to teach me, right, then at least give me the respect that I think I deserve just as a basic human being.
I've like truly, Alan, like it's like, okay, here's what we were going to talk about today. And I've sadly, never really thought about that aspect of it. Is this new person, and I don't want to think age. I know there's an age, regarding Renew, like, right, that's affiliated with it and connected. But, new to our industry doesn't necessarily mean under 35. It could be a 40-year-old apprentice, whatever. But the point being that those people that are coming in, they need this. This is what we, say we do, right? Is we teach you on the job. We back that up with, classroom and lab learning, but it's this brother and sisterhood. And you mentioned that earlier, which I think was great. The collaboration that you're telling me Renew does, that right there is the key to accelerating, to progress, to change, to growth, like all in us just setting ourselves further apart as being the best of the best. When it's like, no, I want to talk to my brothers and sisters, my counterparts in Kansas, as well as in Delaware, as well as in, Ohio. And, I want to know what they're doing. I want to see how, like, did you say, yeah, right? Like, I want to know, and I want to tell you what we're doing so that we can all, get stronger and better together. We're not reinventing wheels. I mean, I think that right there is huge.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about the times we're in, right, there's so much division across not only the United States, but the world, let's say, right? So, as a union, if we don't stand together, we just crumble, right? The house divided against itself will not stand. So that's what we really have to do in this time is put aside our differences and just remember at the end of the day, we're here as IBEW members and human beings to better ourselves. Nobody's in a union. You don't join a union not to get paid, right? So at the very basic core, we're all there to make money. Right? Do we really want an experience at the job site where why are we going to have a bad experience at the job site when we can make it a happy place, make it somewhere where, hey, I go and I actually look forward to going to work, right? Because yes, we're aging population, and if we don't replace the people who are going out, then we have that shortfall of, I think the industry and the ETA has done a great job of telling us, hey, we need this amount of people to replace just to keep us current. Right, we don't have enough electricians to keep us current across the United States, right? If we start losing the few people we have, right? If we don't have the good environment, the welcoming environment that I think everybody should have, then we run the risk of running ourselves dry, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a big picture. I mean, there just is. And we should absolutely invest in ourselves, take care of our our family or friend circles or whatever community that we're involved in, and recognize there's something more and something greater in this. And perfect, no. Like, are you going to love every task you do? Are you going to love every day at work? I don't care what industry you're in, right? I don't care how passionate you are. That doesn't exist. It doesn't. But to recognize it should be a place that's safe, that's supportive, where I can learn and grow. Yeah, and the bad days don't destroy me or, destroy the job. Like, it shouldn't be that. You're right.
That's what we have to educate our members is that it's the way you make it to be, right? Yes, I was sweeping days, right? When they had me sweeping on the composite crew sometimes, I remembered, well, you're paying me $50 an hour as my total package doing this. I'm happy as you be. Before I got into the trade, I worked with special education. So I was a barrier educator working one-on-one with special education from kindergarten all the way to 22-year-old adults. I was happy doing that, right? I loved it. But the reason I moved away from that industry was because it wasn't a livable wage. There's no way I would have an affordable family, a life that's affordable here at all without moving on, right? But no matter what I was doing, even at the job site, I was happy because I was like, you know what? I'm making this ton of money and you got me sweeping. That's fine. Right. And then I remember days on a job site where it was hard, right? We're doing the 56-story high rise. We're on the deck, concrete everywhere, hot day, You're working on rebar all day, you're getting hurt. But the crew I was with, I don't remember the bad times. I just remember the feeling that the crew made me have. Yes, I had bad days, but
Yes.
right now, all I have is a good feeling when I think about that work I did in the high rise.
Yeah, and you're having like I don't know, you're having a bad day together, which makes me sound like the
Yes,
whole
yes,
misery loves
yes.
company, but there's something to camaraderie like we're going through this tough day together and then we're going to have these great days together and when we see this structure complete, we get to celebrate together. So again, it's back to that unity, to the brother and sisterhood, to the whole point of a union and looking out for each other and so that's it's beautiful. I did not know about your background with special education, which just took my respect for you like to a whole different level. No wonder you're such a great person. Like I have friends who have children with special needs and I know and even adult children, right, that can't function on their own. And so I see the impact that career choice has. So I'm like, you went from one serving really like opportunity to another, because what electrical workers do is you serve and support communities, really. I mean, that's what you do. That's really cool. I don't know. That was just one of those extra things. Wait, you said it was you described a hot day, and I do want to ask what's hot because you told me cold is anything under 76. So I just wanted to double check what
It's
hot
a hot
means to
day.
you.
A hot
Yeah.
day. Those July days were extremely hot. So I would say around
Okay.
anywhere from 90 to 95, maybe 100 degrees sometimes
Okay,
when we
that's
reach out
hot.
there. And then
Okay,
you're
that's
closer to
hot.
the
I'll
sun out there.
agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I just
I've
wasn't
also,
sure, you're like 80 is hot. And I'm like, you only have a
80 is
four-degree
hot.
difference.
80 is definitely hot. I will say 80,
Okay.
I'm dying over here. Anything that's not 76 is, for me, is killer, right? And I love to complain. It just is what it
Yeah. I
is.
was like, you're a weather snob. And I didn't know that. All those compliments I gave you, I might take some of those back. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. One thing I love that you shared, and I think it's important for people to, especially in our industry, the folks that are over 35, to really understand like Renew, yes, is about those that are 35 and under and helping them understand the union, get rid of misconceptions, understand their impact in our industry, in their communities, and all of that. But it's like, it's for everyone. Like
It is.
everyone can support and participate. And I think that's something worth driving home. This is not something that's like, no, you can't be a part of it unless, right? It's
Oh
like, no,
no,
be a part of it. Yeah.
definitely, definitely. 35 and younger is only for holding an officer position, right? But once I reached that golden age of 36 and I can no longer hold an office or position within Renew, I'd be still supporting it, right? I'll still be there teaching. And I think that's what makes it beautiful about Renew, right? Just like the United States, where you hand off power. I'm not going to be in this position forever, right? I don't want to hold it. I have to train my next person who will replace me in all my different positions. That way, again, the industry moves forward. So I think it's a
Right.
beautiful thing that what we do is where we just hand off that power and hand off to the next generation. Because again, the only way you're going to learn is sometimes doing it and going through the ringer yourself and going through some difficult situations. But if you have a good community and support, then that's what makes it all worth it.
Yeah. So speaking of you and what you're doing, like how did you learn about Renew? And then after learning, what made you want to get involved in it?
The first time I remember hearing about Renew was when I went to my EWMC conference, my first EWMC conference in Denver. This was, I believe, back in 2023,
Is it
22.
22?
So I
That
think it
was
was
my
no,
first in
23,
person.
23.
Oh,
Yes, 2023. Denver. It was the first one we did in person back when we returned from COVID. Uh, I went to the conference and it was just beautiful, right? You saw the thing about that in EWMC is you see everybody who wants to be involved, everybody who wants to give back to the community. So when you go there, it's people matching your same energy, right? And not only that, there's people who have even higher energy. They're more ecstatic. They're more people like you, right? That you can walk into a room and you can just liven it up and get people riled up. That's what you kind of see in the DMC. So the way I got involved was I heard about it. I met the president at the time, Eddie Nieves, and I appreciate everything, and I just like, you know what, I have to get back. I want to get involved. So the opportunity came for the next conference, for the Atlanta conference, where they actually had a renew portion, because our renew portion is every other year as well. So we don't always have a EWMC renew conference. It just happens to be if it's every other year. So
Okay.
Eddie, the president, asked me at the time, "Hey, you want to be involved? Do you want to be in an advisory position? Do you want to be a workshop presenter? Do you want to help out? How do you want to help out?" And I said, "You know what? Wherever you need me at, I will help out." So sure enough, he called me, and I did a workshop for them with some of our other members, and that's how I ended up being an advisory member for Renew. And then later on, I was appointed to the board, and then I was became president of the EWMC Renew a year later for the last conference we just had.
That's what I was going to say.
Sorry.
That was January. No, you're good. Because for those that are
Yeah,
listening, right, we're recording this before the 2026 EWMC conference, but it was 2025 when you were
2025
appointed,
when I was
elected
appointed,
the,
correct, for the EWMC Renew position.
yeah. I
And
mean,
I would
we
say
could talk
that
all, yeah.
process was an interview, right? Uh, it wasn't directly, it wasn't directly given to me. I had to go ahead and show interest, and I had to interview with President Bagsby. And luckily enough, he decided to give me an opportunity to be the president.
Oh my God. See, yeah. And the EWMC, I mean, anybody that listens to this podcast knows I could go on for years about that organization and what it means to our industry, to the individuals, everyone. But it's so, like, I'm sitting here listening to you, like, I saw a sign and realized I'll get paid that, right? You're looking, you change your career path, you get into this industry, you start getting involved, you go to EWC, you hear about Renew, and now you're sitting here, you're an assistant training director,
Yes.
and you are the EWMC Renew President, and it's
Yeah.
just another one of those moments where people can see, like, there are so many opportunities. There are
The
so many
opportunities are
opportunities.
endless. The opportunities are endless.
Yeah.
I mean, because of my position of EWMC president, I sit also on the IBEW Renew Advisory Committee.
Oh my
And then on the last Renew conference we had in Portland, the Ninth District IVP Reeves appointed me to the EWMC representative for the state of California for IBW. So, I mean,
Oh my gosh.
there's just so much opportunity. If you're active out
Yeah.
there and you try your best, there's so much you can do, so much you can be involved in. I mean, there's countless things you can do.
Yeah. And I feel like you've already answered this, but I want to ask it directly. And I feel like we could say everything you said answers it, but it's like, why should someone get involved? And again, we're not talking about an age thing. We understand you have to be 35 or under to hold a position, an office, but why should anyone get involved with Renew? What would be your,
Couple of
like,
reasons.
I don't know, elevator pitch, right?
Honestly, one thing is I always wanted to give the union changed my life, right? It gave me an opportunity I never would have had. I want that for everybody I meet, right? Whether it be people, because that was me at one point, right? I wanted something that I can advance in, something I can be proud of, right? What's more proud than building the electricity, building the building, and be like, hey, yeah, well, I helped build that structure, right? We had the SoFi Stadium here. We have a whole bunch of manpower at that job site. If you worked at a job site, you can tell your family, yeah, well, yeah, I know some secrets in that building, right? The pride for it. But as far as getting involved, I just want to give back to the community. I encourage, hey, don't you want everybody else who does not have this opportunity, don't you want to give them the opportunity? Right? So when you join a union, it's difficult, right? You got work, you got school, you got your family. Sometimes you need somebody to talk to. Sometimes you need somebody that understands what you went through, right? Because sometimes you can talk to your siblings about it, but they're like, well, yeah. What do you mean school? It's easy. What do you mean work? Yeah, wow. But when you talk with somebody who went through the apprenticeship program, somebody who is going through the apprenticeship programs, who might have the same issues you're having, that might help each other retain, right, retention here at the union. So I would say helping each other out, helping members and helping the community, helping out your community as well, because we do different drives, right? If you want to give back to your community, that's a good reason to join as well. And to better yourself, as we talked about, right? If you want to know how to speak better, right? Public speaking, if you want to know Robert Rules of Order, if you want to improve, learn how to run workshops, right? Do training for, let's say, a vital cog, right? That type of different things, that's something that Renew can help and assist the membership. Because at the end of the day, Renew is here to serve the members. That's all we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can't imagine someone listens to this and doesn't think, how in the world can I get involved? Like, I want to get involved right now. So someone's listening, they're an apprentice, they're a journey worker, whatever, right? Whatever role they're in, they're with a contractor, and they're like, I want to learn more. I want to get involved with Renew. What would be their first steps? Like, what do they need to do?
I would say if they want to get involved, it gets a little bit complex. I would say that's the downside of it, but they can reach out to me, right? I will assist them and direct them to the right representative, or whether they want to do EWMC Renew, whether they want to do IBEW Renew. I can assist them either way, right?
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's what it's about. It's about expanding this, right? The more Renew chapters we have, that's what it is all about. So they're more welcome to reach out to me. I don't know how we put my information out there. I can, you can always find my information out somewhere, but I don't know how we're going to work that one out. But yeah, I'd be more than happy they can reach out to me. I can guide them through the process, guide them through the right information, the right way to go about it.
Excellent. And I usually, like at the end of the podcast, I'll give the Say What email address. So, reach out through that. I mean, you're welcome to share your email if you're willing to, but if not, like, they can reach out to Say What, and then I can get folks connected to you. So
yeah, most definitely. And I would say it also requires the support of the local, right? Because Renew, it's, how can I say it? We need the support of the business manager and the executive board to do stuff we're going to do, right? So if the business manager is hearing this, right, if you want a Renew chapter in your local, you also have to know it comes with supporting them, right? Because there's things that we can do for Renew, but if we don't have a location to meet, if we don't have the, I would say, the blessing of the business manager, it just becomes difficult to have a Renew chapter. Not that it's impossible.
We're back to community, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're back to everybody supporting, everybody helping with the logistics, the admin, the work. I mean, it does take a village, right? We say, that's a kind of a saying we use for several different things, but it's true in this, right? It's going to take everybody supporting it in some way.
Yes. And I would say it will also benefit the local, right? If you want to identify future leaders, right, you can use Renew as a way to identify those leaders. Right, that their heart's in the right place and not doing it for the wrong reasons, right? Renew can be as a way to identify those next generations that you need positions for.
Absolutely. Alan, you're fantastic. You already knew I thought that, even though you do tease me quite a bit, but I'm leaving that out for this moment. But I appreciate your energy. I think, you shared what it's like when people walk into rooms, and I think you make people feel safe, you make people feel comfortable, you kind of energize and share your passion, and you never expect someone to, have the same interests as you or even that same passion level, but you want to see people grow. I've noticed that about you since we met, and I can't imagine anyone better for the positions that you're serving in right now. And I'm just super grateful that you took time to share it here, in this space, so that listeners can hear it. They can be energized as well, and then, go out and get involved.
I appreciate that. Now, where do I send the money to again for that comment?
Oh, yeah. No, well, I owe you money for yours about me, so I figure we're just even at this point.
We're just not even?
So
Okay.
So just don't compliment me. I'm not going to compliment you, and it's all good.
I really do
good.
appreciate that, Cynthia. I know I've known you for a couple of years now, and each year that goes by, it's another wonderful year of our friendship, I would say.
Yes. And there's more to come. That's what I'm also excited about. Yeah. Well, again, thank you so much for sharing all of this incredibly helpful information with us.
Anytime, Cynthia, that's what I'm here for. And don't ever hesitate to reach out, even if you're, even if I would say, even if you think nobody's out there, you're having a difficult time, there's always someone to listen to, right? There's always somebody willing to help. So even if you have nobody to listen to, even if you just need somebody to talk to because you're going through a tough time, go ahead and reach out to me. I'll be more willing to make some time to talk to anybody, right? Because sometimes you can feel isolated, right? Depending where you're at, depending where in your apprenticeship program, where you're on your local, where you're on your life. People feel like there's nobody you can talk to. You can always reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy just to listen. If that's all you need, just somebody to listen to. That's what we're here for, to serve.
Oh, your heart. It's beautiful. Thank you, Alan. Don't you all love Alan? Oh my gosh, he's amazing. I truly get to rub shoulders with and become friends with, I feel like, some of the best people in this world. That includes you, the listeners, and certainly folks like Alan. Alan, thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for all that you do. Please keep up the amazing work. We appreciate you. Huge thanks, big thanks always to the listeners. Thanks for taking time to join us and support Say What. Remember, we want to hear from you. We want this to be what you want. So if there's topics you want to discuss, if you would like to be a guest, please send me an email to saywhat, that's SAYWATT, at electricaltrainingalliance.org. Stay connected with us through our newsletters, blog posts, social media. You can subscribe to the podcast, make sure to tell someone about it. Stay powered up, and we will see you next time.
Say what?